Hi, my name is Scott Quillen, co-founder of bestchordcharts.com and yourchordcharts.com. In this video, I want to go through a detailed overview of our chord charts and then show you how to use our website so that you can save chord charts and arrange them in the order that you want them to be in. So we're at yourchordcharts.com right now. And this is basically a website where you can order your own custom chord charts. You can have it in any tuning, in any key, in any format. On our website, we have 4 sample galleries. Each gallery represents a format that we offer. The formats are numbers, sharps, flats, and intervals. I'm going to go ahead and click on each and load them in my browser. And what's cool about this is that you can have multiple galleries in your browser and arrange the tabs in the order that you want them to be in. So the first gallery that loads is A major. This is standard tuning, and we see that here at the top. This shows you the guitar type, which is 6-string right. This is for right-handed guitar players. This is the tuning. Standard tuning is EAD, GBE. The key is A. Scale is major. The mode is Ionian, and the format is numbers. This is what sharps look like. Now, not to get into music theory, but basically this is for 6-string right, just like the previous gallery was, but the tuning has changed to dadgad. You'll notice that we're in the key of C major, but we're playing in the mode of D Dorian. So D Dorian is a minor mode of C major. It's the second mode of C major, and we're playing in sharps format. Now, because we're playing in the key of C major, this would be the white keys on the piano. There are no sharps and flats, which are the black keys on the piano, so you won't see sharps here, but I can show you what sharps look like in these chord charts here. Now I'll explain why they're grayscale in just a moment, but this is what our sharps look like. There's C sharp and there's F sharp over there. Now let's continue on. So let's look at flats. So we see that the fretboards have changed size because we've gone from 6R, which is 6-string right-handed, to a 7-string guitar. And this is actually left-handed. We have 6, 7, and 8-string, including lefty. So this is what our flats look like. And because we're playing in a minor key here, this is B minor, we would typically view minor chord charts in flats and major chord charts in sharps. You don't have to, but if we want to be musically correct, that's how we would view them. And then this is what intervals look like. And if we compare it to, there's 6-string, there's 7-string, and there's 8-string. Quite a bit of difference there. And you can see that this is 8R, so this is 8-string guitar for right-handed players. This is not standard tuning. The default 8th string on an 8-string guitar is an F sharp. We've actually tuned the F sharp down to E, which in essence is very similar to playing in drop D on a 6-string guitar. You're taking the lowest string and dropping it down a whole step down to E. But anyway, this is what the interval format looks like. If we go back to the first gallery, A major, now this first chord chart is not even really a chord chart, it's a scale fretboard. Every gallery that you load by default loads with a scale fretboard first, followed by the major chords. And the reason why we did that was that we offer 30 chord types. And if you click on this major tab here, this actually brings up the menu that shows you all of the chord types that we have. And there's 30 chord types. Because we're giving you so much information, we didn't want to, let's say if you're playing in a major scale, the major chords are first. If you're playing in a minor scale, the minor chords are first. We would rather people know where the chord types exist. And once you get used to this, you can click on the chord type that you want to see very quickly because it's always in the same spot. I'm going to go ahead and close that out for now. In the key of A major, there's 3 major chords. A major, and you see that chord chart here. There's D major, and there's E major. Oh, but we've got these grayscale chord charts here. What are they doing here? Well, if we scroll up and we look at the scale fretboard closely, we'll see that not every fret has a number. And that's because the numbers are representing the notes that are in the scale. And so you'll see here that there's a space between 1 and 2. Now, if we close this out and we look at our first grayscale chord chart, we will see that that fret has a 3 in it. If we go back to the scale fretboard and we look, there is no flat 2 there, but if we go back to the grayscale chord chart, there's the flat 2 in the red box, and if we add a flat 2 to the scale, we can play the chord F sharp major. If you'll notice here at the top, we've got the notes of the chord. The major chord formula is always 1, 3, 5. It doesn't matter what the chord is. For instance, E major is in the scale. The formula is still 1, 3, 5. F sharp major is outside of the scale by one note. That's the flat 2, and it's 1, 3, 5. B major is outside the scale by one note, but if we add a flat 5, we can play B major. And the same thing with adding a sharp 5 to the scale. We can play C sharp major, but the formula is always 1, 3, 5. Okay? If we look at the minor chords that are in the A major scale, we know that there's 3 major chords and there's 3 minor chords. Let's go ahead and click on, instead of clicking on the page right, let's go ahead and click on the chord types button. Click on the lowercase m, and here are the 3 minor chords that are in the scale: B minor, C sharp minor, and F sharp minor. Now, if we look at the B minor chord type, we might be familiar with this. If we play guitar, we might be familiar with this first position. So the first position of B minor would be that we would bar our finger across the 2nd fret. With our ring finger, we would play the 4th fret of string 4. Pinky would go on the 4th fret of string 3, playing the 1 note. And then our middle finger would be playing the 3rd fret, 2nd string, playing the flat 3. And we would play that as a B minor chord. If we look at the chord formula for a minor chord, it's not 1, 3, 5. Minor is 1 flat 3, 5. So when we're looking for where to put our fingers, we can see that if we bar our finger across fret 2, we're playing 2 5s and a 1. Then we're playing 5, 1, flat 3. So that means we're playing all 3 notes of the chord, except we're playing 3 5s, 2 1s, and 1 flat 3. Now, if we go back to the chord type selector and click on minor 7 add 11, minor 7 add 11 is a 5-note chord. So because we have the chord formula listed on every chord chart, it allows us to very quickly look at B minor 7 add 11 and know that we need a 1, flat 3, 4, 5, and a flat 7 in our chord. So if we look at the 2nd fret again, and we were to bar our finger all the way across, we couldn't play string 2, fret 2, because there's a note missing. This note is not in the chord. But if we barred our finger across and then we played this flat 3 here on string 2, fret 3, we might be able to play a B minor 7 add 11. Let's take a look. Using the chord formula at the top as a guide, there's our 1, there's our flat 3, there's our 4, we have 2 5s, and we have a flat 7. That would be one way to play B minor 7 add 11. If we look at the 7th fret, we have a 1, flat 3, 4, we have a 5, and a flat 7. We could bar our finger all the way across fret 7 and play a B minor 7 add 11. So it's extremely helpful being able to look at a fretboard and see all the different options we have to play a particular chord. If we go to DADGAD tuning, the open string notes now have changed. The E goes down a whole step to D. The A, D, and G strings stay the same. String 2, which is normally a B, goes down a whole step to A. And string 1, which is normally an E, goes down a whole step to D. Okay, as soon as we get into DADGAD tuning, 3 strings have notes in a completely different place than they were before. And for a lot of people, that's a little too much to deal with. It's hard enough to play in standard tuning, let alone in alternate tuning. However, with our fretboard GPS, you can see where to put your fingers very easily. It takes the guesswork out, and it also allows you to see what you're actually playing. So if I go back to the main gallery page here, let's say I'm writing a song in D Dorian, and I want to save this chord chart to my own collection. Well, on every chord chart, there's the option to click Add. When I click Add, I will be adding the scale fretboard to my own collection. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is create a collection called Dadgad. I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to close this window that opens. It says that it was added successfully. I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and you'll see that no longer do I have Add. I have the option to remove if I want to remove it from my collection, but I don't want to remove it from my collection. I just added it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the minor chords. So I'm going to use this page right function here in this arrow, and now I'm looking at the minor chords. If I look at that chord D minor and I see the open tuning, I have D's and A's. If I look for a note on string 3, because I can't play that open, I should be looking for an F, because I already have D and I have A in the open strings. So as I look at string 3, there's an A, there's a D, and look, there's an F. That means I could play all the open string notes. If I want to play the chord D minor in Dadgad tuning, I can strum all the open string notes and then fret string 3, fret 10, and play that F, and that will give me a very unique chord voicing for D minor. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my collection. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and add just a few more chords to my collection. These are minor chords and I'm playing in a minor scale, so I might want to just add those to my collection. And you'll see here, if I go back to the top, my collection is right here at the top. It says Dadgad. Now, if I'm looking at this fretboard and I just went through the process of determining how I want to play this, again, open strings all the way across except for string 3, I want to play on fret 10 and play that F note. Well, I might not remember that in an hour or the next day or maybe in the next week when I actually come back to my collection. And that's where we added a comments function. So if we click on this comment icon, we can add a comment and basically write ourselves a note. Play open strings, but play F on fret 10 of string 3. Now I think that's right. Let me check. Let me go back. So I'm going to click the icon again. Play the open strings, except fret 10 is an F on string 3. Play open strings, but play F on fret 10 of string 3, save, and now that comment is saved. If I click on Dadgad here at the top, it's going to load the chords that I just added to my collection. Now, of course, that's also going to include the scale fretboard that I added. If I want to, I could drag this scale fretboard to the first position. I can drag D minor first as a first chord in my progression, and then I might play A minor next and then end my progression with E minor. So I'm playing D minor, then A minor, then E minor. See this, the notes are actually saved in my collection. Play open strings, but play F on fret 10 of string 3. I don't have to remember how I want to play that chord. I've left myself a note. And the fact that I can arrange the chords in the order that I want them to be in is incredibly helpful. A lot of guitar players, a lot of bands, they get comfortable playing certain chords and certain scales, and they stay there. So our idea is to get people outside of the comfort zone and expand beyond the normal chord voicings. How many times do we have to hear the A chord or the D chord or G or C in the standard tuning chord voicing? With alternate tunings, there's a whole world of chord voicings that are relatively untapped. If people have found them, it's hard to remember them and it's hard to expand on them. A lot of people can go to a new tuning and come up with something, but it's hard to take it beyond the initial idea because they don't know where to go. And so we've eliminated a lot of the stumbling blocks to bring the world of music to your fingertips. We live in neighborhoods. We don't use our GPS when we drive to work or go to the store. I mean, once we know where we're going, we feel pretty confident to get in the car and just drive. But when we drive to a new destination, we're not so comfortable unless we have a GPS or a map. And so we want to do that with music. There's a whole world of music out there that's really untapped. Even if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know any theory at all, you have access to the world of music. All the theory is built into the platform. We've already done that hard work so that you don't have to rely on what you remember from what you've learned. You literally click and play. At the end of the day, we want to help people venture off into the world of music confidently. We hope this video helps. We hope that what we've provided you, either at Best Chord Charts or yourchordcharts.com, helps you as a player, as a songwriter, as a teacher, and we look forward to hearing your music.